Shri Namaha, and welcome to the Sri Vidya Temple's online classes in chanting. Today we'll be starting a class on Sri Suktam, which is a Vedic chant. So just to give a very, very brief introduction, Sri Suktam is very popular, and it's also very significant for any deity worship and also in Sri Vidya, because of course we have Sri Vidya and the Sri Yantra and also Sri Suktam. So this is significant for the deity worship. If you are familiar in Sri Vidya, the Mula Mantra has either 15 or 16 bijas, whether it's Panchadashi or Shodashi. And the Sri Suktam itself has either 15 or 16 Veda mantras, depending on whether you count the Lakshmi Gayatri mantra at the end. So there's a connection there. And also one of the most common forms of puja, especially which we do in the temple, is known as Shodashopachara Puja, or Shodasha, 16 Upachara, offerings, puja. So there are 16 main offerings. And so what we do is we'll chant one mantra of Sri Suktam and then make one offering and continue like that. So it's very convenient that the 16 mantras correspond to the 16 offerings. So in the temple, what we typically do is Sri Sukta Shodashopachara Puja in the mornings and also in the evening. So it's also done during festivals for Kalasha Puja and so on. So it's a very, very powerful puja that's done on a very, really a daily basis in the temple. Okay, so we'll be focusing on the chanting just of Sri Suktam. So there are actually many, many variations for Sri Suktam, depending on which region of India you're in or which guru you may have learned from. There are many variations, and the only authentic sort of version that I have found in writing is from the Rig Veda. So it is definitely in the Rig Veda, but as far as I'm aware, if you look in the Taittiriya Shaka of the Krishna Yajurveda, we won't find it. So people may be chanting in different ways, more in a Yajurveda style, but it's technically not found in the most common version of Krishna Yajurveda. So maybe this is the reason why there are so many variations. So the version that I'll be chanting is based on one that I have heard on YouTube, which was recorded by some highly trained pundits. So on the screen, I'll be showing the swara marks for that, which is taken from the Devi Padaka's book, which is a publication of the temple. And so that is the version. So just everyone should be aware that it'll be chanted in different ways, and that's completely natural. So nothing to worry about. So what I will do is share my screen. Okay. So on my screen, I am showing the Sri Suktam from Devi Padaka's publication. And the way that we've given it in the book is with some additional bijas in the front of each Veda mantra. And so it's important to note that these should only be chanted if somebody has Sri Vidya Diksha. So I'm not going to be chanting those bija mantras in this class, since there may be people viewing it who may not have Sri Vidya Diksha. Okay, so I just want to point out something. So as I was mentioning, there's no version of this in the Krishna Yajurveda that I could find. And so if you look at, say, just the first line, where we have Varnam Harinim Suvarna, if this were being done in the Yajurveda style, this would actually be Varna Gum Harini Gum Suvarna, because it would be following the rules of Anuswara in Krishna Yajurveda. But we don't have that. So we can see right away that these really are Rigveda mantras. And there's actually only one mantra in the Sri Suktam that does occur in the Yajurveda, and that's the one that starts with Gandhadwara Duradharsham. So that one actually occurs by itself in the Krishna Yajurveda. Okay, so I'm going to start my Shruti. And the way that we'll do this particular class is that I will be repeating the lines and sections of the lines. I will repeat each section 3 times. So you can listen 1 or 2 times and then chant yourself on the 2nd or 3rd times. Okay, so we'll start with the Ganapati prayer. Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnan Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vikhnopashantaye. Okay, and so just a reminder to ignore the bijas in parentheses at the beginning of each mantra. Okay, so starting from the first line. Hiranyavarnam Harinim Hiranyavarnam Harinim Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarnarajatasrajam Suvarnarajatasrajam Suvarnarajatasrajam. Now I'll do the full line. Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarnarajatasrajam. Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarnarajatasrajam. Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarnarajatasrajam. Now the next line. Chandram Hiranmayi Lakshmim Chandram Hiranmayi Lakshmim Chandram Hiranmayi Lakshmim Jatavedo Ma'avaha Jatavedo Ma'avaha Jatavedo Ma'avaha. Now the full line. Chandram Hiranmayi Lakshmim Jatavedo Ma'avaha Chandram Hiranmayi Lakshmim Jatavedo Ma'avaha Chandram Hiranmayi Lakshmim Jatavedo Ma'avaha. Okay, now I'll go on to the next mantra. Tam Ma'avaha Jatavedo Tam Ma'avaha Jatavedo Tam Ma'avaha Jatavedo Tam Ma'avaha Jatavedo Lakshmi Manapagamini Lakshmi Manapagamini
Tam avahajataveto Lakshmi manapagamini Tam avahajataveto Lakshmi manapagamini Tam avahajataveto Lakshmi manapagamini.
Now the next line.
Yasyam hiranyam vindeyam Yasyam hiranyam vindeyam Yasyam hiranyam vindeyam Yasyam hiranyam vindeyam Kamashvam purushanaham Kamashvam purushanaham Kamashvam purushanaham Yasyam hiranyam vindeyam Kamashvam purushanaham Yasyam hiranyam vindeyam Kamashvam purushanaham Yasyam hiranyam vindeyam Kamashvam purushanaham.
Let me just check the chat messages and see. Okay, looks like there was a question about the volume of the chanting, but it seems to be okay. So just let me know if there's any other issues. Okay, so now we'll go on to the third line.
Ashpapurvam rathamadhyam Ashpapurvam rathamadhyam Ashpapurvam rathamadhyam Hastinada prabodhinim Hastinada prabodhinim Hastinada prabodhinim Ashpapurvam rathamadhyam Hastinada prabodhinim Ashpapurvam rathamadhyam Hastinada prabodhinim Ashpapurvam rathamadhyam Hastinada prabodhinim.
A double upper swara. Okay, let's see. So there was a question about the double upper swara, which we call as dirgha svarita. So if we look in the first mantra, it doesn't occur. If we look in the second mantra, it occurs here in the last word. So we have Lakshmi Manapagamini, and there is a dirgha svarita noted on the final syllable. So the way that we would pronounce this neem at the end would be
Ni im Ni im.
Okay, so if we do the full word.
Lakshmi Manapagamini im Lakshmi Manapagamini im.
And then I'll do the full line.
Tamma avaha jata vedo Lakshmi manapagamini.
Okay, so I don't see a Dirgha Swarita in the third line either. And so this is again something that there will be variations, because if we were chanting this in the Rig Veda style, um, especially Kumbhakornam style of chanting, then every single Dirgha vowel where there's an upper swara at all would be chanted as Dirgha Swarita. But because we're not really chanting in the Rig Veda Kumbhakornam style, this Dirgha Swarita will occur in some places, but not necessarily others. So that can be a place where there will be some variation. Okay, so hope that answers the question. All right, now we have done Ashvapurvam. So now if we go on to the next line.
Shriyan Devi Mopahvaye. Shriyan Devi Mopahvaye. Shriyan Devi Mopahvaye.
And here there's a challenging akshara where we have upah vaye, this HV. So there's holding on the H sound, upah vaye, upah vaye. Okay, so that one is a little bit tricky. It'll take a little bit of practice. I'll do this one more time.
Shriyan Devi Mopahvaye.
Now the next part.
Shrirma Devir Joshatam. Shrirma Devir Joshatam. Shrirma Devir Joshatam.
Now the full line.
Shriyan Devi Mopahvaye. Shrirma Devir Joshatam. Shriyan Devi Mopahvaye. Shrirma Devir Joshatam. Shriyan Devi Mopahvaye. Shrirma Devir Joshatam.
Okay, now going on to the next mantra.
Kamsosmitam Hiranyaprakara. Kamsosmitam Hiranyaprakara. Kamsosmitam Hiranyaprakara. Artran jvalantim truptan tarpayantim. Artran jvalantim truptan tarpayantim. Artran jvalantim truptan tarpayantim.
Now the full line.
Kamsosmitam hiranyaprakaramartran jvalantim truptan tarpayantim. Kamsosmitam hiranyaprakaramartran jvalantim truptan tarpayantim. Kamsosmitam hiranyaprakaramartran jvalantim truptan tarpayantim.
Now the next line.
Padme sthitam padmavarnam. Padme sthitam पद्मवर्णां पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियं तामिहोपह्वये श्रियं तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम्.
Okay, so that's 4 mantras. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and chant from the beginning as a review.
ॐ हिरण्यवर्णां हरिणीं सुवर्णरजतस्रजां चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावह तां महावह जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं विन्देयङ्गामश्वं पुरुषानहम् अश्वपूर्वां रथमध्यां हस्तिनादप्रबोधिनीं श्रियं देवीमुपह्वये श्रीर्मा देवीर्जुषताम् तां सुस्मितां हिरण्यप्राकारमार्त्रां ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीं पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम्.
Okay, now going on to the next line.
चन्द्रां प्रभासा यशसा ज्वलन्तीं चन्द्रां प्रभासा यशसा ज्वलन्तीं चन्द्रां प्रभासा यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदाराम् श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदाराम् श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदाराम्.
Now the full line.
चन्द्रां प्रभासा यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदाराम् चन्द्रां प्रभासा यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदाराम् चन्द्रां प्रभासा यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदाराम्.
Now the next line.
तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहम् तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहम् तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहम् प्रपद्ये लक्ष्मीर्मे प्रपद्ये lakshmirme. Prapatye lakshmirme. Nashyatan tvam vrane. Nashyatan tvam vrane. Nashyatam tvam vrane.
So in this line in the English, you can see here that there's a small apostrophe. And in Devanagari, this would be shown as the avagraha, which is indicating that the vowel a has been dropped due to the rules of sandhi. So really, if we were to break this apart, it would be prapadye alakshmihi, prapadye alakshmihi me nashyatam. So this nashyatam means that something is being destroyed. So we're not destroying Lakshmi. We're definitely destroying only a Lakshmi, which is the opposite of wealth and abundance and divine prosperity. So even though this avagraha is here, and we're pronouncing this as prapadye lakshmir, just keep in mind that this is not Lakshmi, this is Alakshmi here. And it is perfectly fine to pronounce it as prapadye lakshmir because it's understood that the a has been dropped because of the rules of sandhi in Sanskrit grammar. So you may hear some people breaking this apart to say prapadye alakshmir. That's their preference to chant it in that way. But it's perfectly fine to chant it as prapadye lakshmir me. Okay, so I'll do the full line now.
Tam padmini mim sharanamaham prapatye lakshmir me nashyatan tvam vrane. Tam padmini mim sharanamaham prapatye lakshmir me nashyatan tvam vrane. Tam padmini mim sharanamaham prapatye lakshmir me nashyatan tvam vrane.
Okay, now the next line.
Aditya varne tapaso dhijato. Aditya varne tapaso dhijato. Aditya varne tapaso dhijato. Vanaspatistava vrikshotha bilvaha. Vanaspatistava vrikshotha bilvaha. Vanaspatistava vrikshotha bilvaha.
Now the full line.
Aditya varne tapaso dhijato vanaspatistava vrikshotha bilvaha. Aditya varne tapaso dhijato vanaspatistava vrikshotha bilvaha. Aditya varne tapaso dhijato vanaspatistava vrikshotha bilvaha.
So in the English, the upper swara often is difficult to see. So I might not have pronounced this dhi in tapasodhi correct every time, but just to point out, there's an upper swara here. So this would be
Tapaso dhijato. Tapaso dhijato.
just wanted to clarify that. Now let's do the next line.
Tasya phalani tapasanudantu. Tasya Tasya phalani tapasanudanto. Tasya phalani tapasanudanto. Mayantarayascha bahya alakshmihi. Mayantarayascha bahya alakshmihi. Mayantarayascha bahya alakshmihi.
So here we have the word bahya. So there's holding on the ha sound and it's holding after dirgha. So it's a little bit challenging here. It sounds like bahya, bahya. And then here there's a small gap in between the bahya and alakshmihi. And the reason for that is that this is ending in a dirgha vowel, bahya, and then the next word is beginning in any vowel sound. So there will be a small gap here, or small pause. Now I'll do the full line.
Tasya phalani tapasanudanto mayantarayascha bahya alakshmihi. Tasya phalani tapasanudanto mayantarayascha bahya alakshmihi. Tasya phalani tapasanudanto mayantarayascha bahya alakshmihi.
Okay, now the next mantra.
Upaitu man deva sakha. Upaitu man deva sakha. Upaitu man deva sakha. Kirtishcha marnina saha. Kirtishcha marnina saha. Kirtishcha marnina saha.
Now the full line.
Upaitu man deva sakha. Kirtishcha marnina saha. Upaitu man deva sakha. Kirtishcha marnina saha. Upaitu man deva sakha. Kirtishcha marnina saha.
And here I just want to point out the pronunciation of this visarga in deva sakha, because it's followed by the ka sound in kirtischa. This visarga is pronounced like ah, ah. It's like a ha sound, but with the throat just a little bit more constricted. So it comes out as deva sakah kirtischa. Sakah kirtischa. Okay, now the next line.
Pradurbhutosmi rashtresmin. Pradurbhutosmi rashtresmin. Pradurbhutosmi rashtresmin. Kirtimriddhin.
I'm sorry, this is a slight difference from what I'm used to.
Kirtimriddhin dadatu me. Kirtimriddhin dadatu me. Kirtimriddhin dadatu me.
Let me do that one more time.
Kirtimriddhin dadatu me. Kirtimriddhin dadatu me. Kirtimriddhin dadatu me.
Now the full line.
Pradurbhutosmi कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे.
Okay, now the next line.
क्षुत्पिपासामलान् ज्येष्ठाम् क्षुत्पिपासामलान् ज्येष्ठाम् क्षुत्पिपासामलान् ज्येष्ठाम् अलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् अलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् अलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् क्षुत्पिपासामलान् ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् क्षुत्पिपासामलान् ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् क्षुत्पिपासामलान् ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम्.
Now the next line.
अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वान् निर्नुद मे गृहात् सर्वान् निर्नुद मे गृहात् सर्वान् निर्नुद मे गृहात्.
Now the full line.
अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वान् निर्नुद मे गृहात् अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वान् निर्नुद मे गृहात् अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वान् निर्नुद मे गृहात्.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the fifth, to Chandram Prabhasam, and chant what we've just done.
Chandram prabhasaं yashasa jvalantim Shriyam loke devajushtamudaram Tam padminimim sharanamaham prapatye lakshmirme nashyatan tvam vrane Adityavarne tapasodhijato vanaspati's tava vrikshotha bilvaha tasya phalani tapasanudanto mayan tarayascha bahya alakshmihi उपैतुमान् देवसखः कीर्तिश्च मणिना सह प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे क्षुत्पिपासामलान् ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीन् नाशयाम्यहम् अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वान् निर्नुद मे गृहात्.
Okay, so that's approximately halfway through. Just want to check if there are any questions so far. Okay, looks like everybody's all good. So I'll go on to the next line.
गन्धद्वारान्दुराधरशाम् गन्धद्वारान्दुराधरशाम् गन्धद्वारान्दुराधरशाम्.
Okay, so here in this word duradharsham, notice the pronunciation of Rusha. This is known as Svara Bhakti. So there's a slight sort of roll of the R sound. We don't hold on the Ir sound. It gets rolled a little bit. So it sounds like dharsham, dharsham, duradharsham. I'll do that section one more time.
गन्धद्वारान्दुराधरशाम्.
Okay, now the next part.
नित्यपुष्टाङ्गरीषिणीम् नित्यपुष्टाङ्गरीषिणीम् नित्यपुष्टाङ्गरीषिणीम्.
Now the full line.
गन्धद्वारान्दुराधरशाम् नित्यपुष्टाङ्गरीषिणीम् गन्धद्वारान्दुराधरशाम् नित्यपुष्टाङ्गरीषिणीम् गन्धद्वारान्दुराधरशाम् नित्यपुष्टाङ्गरीषिणीम्.
Now the next line.
ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानाम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानाम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानाम् तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम्.
Now the full line.
ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम्.
Now the next line.
मनसः काममाकुतिं मनसः काममाकुतिं मनसः काममाकुतिं मनसः काममाकुतिं वाचः सत्यमशीमहि वाचः सत्यमशीमहि वाचः सत्यमशीमहि.
Now the full line.
मनसः काममाकुतिं वाचः सत्यमशीमहि मनसः काममाकुतिं वाचः सत्यमशीमहि Manasah Kamamakutil Vachas Satyamashi. So in this line, notice the pronunciation of the Visarga in Manasaha, because it's followed by the Ka in Kama, becomes Manasah Kama, Manasah Kama. Whereas in the word Vachaha, because it's followed by the Sa in Satya, this Visarga is pronounced exactly like Sa, and there's holding there, so we have Vachas Satya, Vachas Satya. I'll do the full line one more time. Manasah Kamamakutil Vachas Satyamashi. Now the next line. Pashunam Rupamannasya. Pashunam Rupamannasya. Pashunam Rupamannasya. Mayashri Shrayatayashaha. Mayashri Shrayatayashaha. Mayashri Shrayatayashaha. So here, notice the holding on ish in Mayashri, and then again, the holding on ish in Shri Shrayatam. Shri Shrayatam. Okay? I'll do the full line. Pashunam Rupamannasya Mayashri Shrayatayashaha. Pashunam Rupamannasya Mayashri Shrayatayashaha. Pashunam Rupamannasya Mayashri Shrayatayashaha. Now the next line. Kartamena praja bhuta. Kartamena praja bhuta. Kartamena praja bhuta. Mahi sambhava kartama. Mahi sambhava kartama. Mahi sambhava kartama. Kartamena praja bhuta. Mahi sambhava kartama. Kartamena praja bhuta. Mahi sambhava kartama. Kartamena praja bhuta. Mahi sambhava kartama. Now the next line. Shriyam vasaya me kule. Shriyam vasaya me kule. Shriyam vasaya me kule. Mataram padma malini. Mataram padma malini. Mataram padma malini. Shriyam vasaya me kule. Mataram padma malini. Shriyam vasaya me kule. Mataram padma malini. Shriyam vasaya me kule. Mataram padma malini. Now the next line. Apasrujantu snigdhani. आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लीतवसमे गृहे चिक्लीतवसमे गृहे चिक्लीतवसमे गृहे आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लीतवसमे गृहे आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लीतवसमे गृहे आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लीतवसमे गृहे. Now the next line. निच देवीं मातरं श्रियं निच देवीं मातरं श्रियं निच देवीं मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले वासय मे कुले वासय मे कुले. Now the full line. निच देवीं मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले निच देवीं मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले निच देवीं मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले. Now we'll do the next line. So the next two mantras especially, there will be a lot of variation. Sometimes you'll see the Suvarnam Hemamalinim from this line put into the line before, and then the Pingalam Padmamalinim will be reversed. Sometimes Suryam will be chanted first and Chandram will be chanted next. Sometimes people will even change it based on whether it's daytime or evening time to give preference to either Surya, the sun, or Chandra, the moon. But this is how we chant it typically in the temple, so that's how we've put it in the book. So now we'll start from Ardram Pushkarinim. Artram pushkarinim pushtim Artram pushkarinim pushtim Artram pushkarinim pushtim Pingalam padmamalinim Pingalam padmamalinim Pingalam padmamalinim. Now the full line. Artram pushkarinim pushtim Pingalam padmamalinim Artram pushkarinim pushtim Pingalam padmamalinim Artram pushkarinim pushtim Pingalam padmamalinim. Now the next line. Chandram hiranmayim lakshmim Chandram hiranmayim lakshmim Chandram hiranmayim lakshmim Jatavedo ma'avaha Jatavedo ma'avaha Jatavedo Ma'avaha Chandram Hiranmahim Lakshmim Jatavedo Ma'avaha Chandram Hiranmahim Lakshmim Jatavedo Ma'avaha Chandram Hiranmahim Lakshmim Jatavedo Ma'avaha. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Gandhadwaram. I don't remember where we stopped off last time. So actually, yeah, I'll do Gandhadwaram and just do a final review. Gandhadwaranduradharshan nityapushtangarishini Ishvarim sarvabhutanam tamivopahvaye shriyam manasah kamamakutam vachas satyamashīmahi Pashunam rupamannasya mayashri shrayatayashaha Kartamena prajabhutamahi sambhava kartama Shriyam vasaya kule mataram padmamalinim Apasrujantu snigdhani chiklitavasame gruhe Nicha Devi Mataram Shriyam Vasayame Kule Artram Pushkarinim Pushtim Pingalam Padmamalinim Chandram Hiranmahi Lakshmim Jatavedo Ma'avaha. Okay, so I'll stop there. So I just want to check if there are any questions on what we did tonight.
No, it was good.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So we'll stop there and we'll finish up the rest of Sri Suktam in the next class. And since we'll have some extra time at the end, I'll do some more repetitions of Sri Suktam and also going a little bit faster so that you can get a bit of practice in chanting it all the way through. So Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.